The greatest understanding you cannot make in your mind. It comes only as a gift. Like it gets revealed inside, and you just come to see. You come to see. You know, you don't study to see. You just, it's like a veil is removed, and you come to see God's grace. To understand, and then something is cleared out. But if you study, your mind is still not true. It will never be true. It will never be quite true. It will only be, you know, a perspective. But when you see the truth, it's like it's not like it's rigid, it doesn't move. No, it's not like that. It's like it's so pure, it's not going to make you fall over it anymore. You just, this is silent.
Can we make an impact for this veil to move, or it's a destiny?
What's that? What veil? The one
veil of ignorance to
Well, I have to say that when I think about that like that, I really don't know of another way that's more clean than through self-inquiry. But self-inquiry is itself removing the veil. And some veils, they're very, very thin, so you don't even think there's a veil there. But this veil, it's like you have a sense that something is blocking, it's not going through, and therefore you don't feel in your fullness or something like that. And perhaps you can't even decipher what could it be. You don't even know what it could be. But you only can think like that phenomenally. You see, it's like, again, you're thinking phenomenally. So then the I who you're taking yourself to be is also phenomenal. You see? And so this phenomenal I thinks phenomenally. And in a sense, what happens is that is the veil of I itself. You know? And only one that can see the veil of I is that one who has no name, who's really empty. Because everything feels like something is, somehow a veil in front of the eye or something. But when you come to see that there's the eye itself becomes a veil, if that eye is still a veil, then you realize that what is veiled from that eye and the eye, they are the same one thing. And then what is left? What is left is wherever that reasoning comes from, that ability to observe that arises out of just the infinite being. And no imagination needed for that. It's right there. It's the infinite being that is seeing, understanding, through the consciousness, that it is not, that there's nothing. Because you see, you can only be blocked or half-baked or something if you're phenomenal. You see, it means that you have some measurement about you, You're not enough brown, you're not enough baked, you're not enough something, and that has a sort of feeling, and it has such a sense of reality, but only to the one who is also phenomenal. When that is seen, that, wait a minute, this feeling feels so intimate, it feels like, it's just like, there's no space on either side of it for there to be anything else. And you see, but these are thoughts. Once you know and see that what is has no edge, has no left and right, in or out, no quality, no phenomenon that can be measurable, then you see everything that is measurable. So even the thoughts, like I'm almost there, or sometimes I come in and go out, you just imagine that they're all phenomenal. Every single one of them is phenomenal. Like sometimes, when I'm sitting with the self, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's not really ultimately true. It is still in the realm of phenomenality. And because we are accustomed, we are so accustomed to phenomenality, within phenomenality, there can be regions that feel more true than others. You see? So in such cases, you may find that the highest phenomenality, you don't think it's phenomenal, but it's so high. You say, yes, thank you for this. This is the highest teaching. Yeah? And yet it is also phenomenal. Because the absolute is not high. It's not high or low. It doesn't belong to the category of the interrelated opposites. You see? But there must be a very, very deep, there must be such a deep sensing and recognition and confirmation of this, that it immediately, it's filled with joy. It's just filled with joy because there's nothing that is there to obstruct anything. It's just like everywhere you go in space, there's space. Suppose you come to the end of space, space and space and space, and then boom, stop, and then look behind, and there's no space. There's no space. It's impossible. You cannot come to the end of space. You see? And even space is perceived in that. The only way you can come to the end of space, you see, is to go into deep sleep. Then you come to the end of phenomenal space. Then you have the space of non-cognition. Then you have the non-cognitive space, meaning that you are in the state of deep sleep. There's no space again, there's no space. But there's no traveler there unless you're dreaming. So there's space again. And you can't go to space and then one part of space says, I'm not spacious enough. No, every part of space is spacious. So I like to keep it simple that, okay, if you understand the simple thing really well, you understand the big thing also very well. Yeah. If you really could say, I don't know if you can say you understand, the word is not right. If you experience, what the nucleus is, a nuclei is, then also you experience what the macrocosmic universe is. It's like the same. It's like knowing the universe through the DNA of it, or whatever. But just to bring it back to simple terms, I was very excited to at some point, who's getting this? We don't have any more. Last stop, guys. Last stop. Who's going to get off the bus? You see, at some point, there's no more miles to go. There's no miles to go. There's no miles to return from now. Okay, you acknowledge yourself here. No miles to go. And then you see immediately in this point, what happens is some it's like magic powder, vibrations that it just get hyped up a little bit. It's like you have some kind of dimmer switch and you can't feel anything, you just turn it and it just light, everything begins to light. In your feelings, your sense of completeness. I don't even know if I call it just feeling. But I say feeling, I say it's like a vibration, a current of joy is felt. Because you're totally weightless now. You can become weightless. So if you're weightless, you're formless also. Wherever there's quality, there's some weight. There is some some contraction, some expansion, some you and me, some this and that, some distance, some movement, something is there. See? When you analyze that all the movements that are being perceived, including the movement of analyzing the movement, is seen. I don't know if people really consciously experience, you know. I say that our natural, everyday, normal experience is of the self, but we think it is not. We have to go to basically special effects. You want to have a special kind of feeling or a special something to say, yeah, I did this, and then wow, this happened. But that happening today, actually, we talked about it. No? That it's not the happening. You put a lot in the happening, like, and then wow, it's all the universe is. That's going to come to an end because it's still phenomenal. But the one in whom it arises, for whom there's no real attraction to meet, the one who is normally attracted to the pulse of change, that one and the pulse itself is phenomenal. But that which knows this, in which this is known, this one, no one can measure this one. This is you. That is I, or beyond I, if you want to say. I'd like to see what goes on now for anybody. If they say, okay, but then after this, how can we go on? See, then after everything after that you speak, unless you keep quiet, unless this blow you into silence, everything you speak is going to be some nonsense now. It's going to be like going back into the old state. So when we get there now, so okay, how are you going to live in this kind of state? I mean, it's not great, it's a waste of time. You just wasted all this time. Go to the state first. Go there, be there, or rather leave every state. Recognize what I'm pointing to, truly, and we'll see if you really have what you just said to say. Whatever you said just now, do you want to say that? But don't give me hypothetical projections or, assumptions or something. Just do it. We said today that it's not about you dip in the Ganga 100 times a day. It's not going to do nothing. If your mind is still somehow in some, yes, okay, if you dip yourself in the Ganga, you must have sufficient faith to do that. And if you do, to the amount of faith that you have, some merits will be experienced or something. But they also burn out because the person is on a meter. Everything you do is on a meter and it's counting down 9, 8, 7, 6. You just burn out your credit basically. And then you have to do another thing and say, oh yeah, now I please God, 199, 98, 97, 90, because it's the person who's on the clock. I tell you the truth, the one who seems to be the most, I really, really want this. I really came here for this. Really, Mooji, really, I give anything to realize this. He's a joker, still. For the most part. Maybe occasionally there is someone who, just is like that. But it just seems almost like it's so natural that to want it so bad is unnatural. Understand? It's just really so natural that I really have to do it, Mooji. In this life, I said, you? I don't trust you. That's just pure theater. It's almost like you start to talk with someone, having a cup of tea, and you say, yes, so what happened the other day? So-and-so was talking, and said, really? It really works like this? I don't know. You're just casually talking, and something just dropped away. Just like some sleep fall out of your eyes.
Unwanted by the unwise, untrodden by the untrue, unloved by the unfit, unsparing to untruth. I am the undone, nothing to undo, nothing to hold on to. I am unto myself, unaffected, unaffiliated,